Sophie Cunningham's officially Project B. Sophie Cunningham's Project B, man. We are literally watching the WNBA crumble before our eyes. That is what is happening right now. Sorry for the change of scenery. I'm traveling for the holidays, visiting family, but this is nuts. I saw this news while I was on the flight. Once I saw this news, the flight got bumpy as hell. I'm like, what? American Airlines, y'all gotta get that figured out. That flight was bumpy as hell once I saw this Sophie Cunningham news, because you know I paid for the Wi-Fi. Come on now. Sophie Cunningham officially joins Project B.
So let's break down the Caitlin Clark scenario, because the news has just hit like a pile of bricks. Sophie Cunningham, a major player and Clark's former teammate on the Indiana Fever, has officially departed and joined something called Project B. The WNBA is currently facing a tremendous issue as a result of this action. Seriously, the problem is bigger than just players switching teams. It feels like an economic earthquake. It points to a bleak future for the league's teams, particularly the Indiana Fever. What this demonstrates is the incredible strength of Project B's offerings. We're talking about massive payments and actual ownership stake for the players, which pose a direct challenge to the WNBA's entire business. For Caitlin Clark, this is a devastating blow. She recently lost a trusted friend on the court, someone who literally fought for her, making her future in Indiana appear quite uncertain. You can feel it. The entire foundation of the league is beginning to crack.
Can't start nowhere else. Sophie Cunningham is officially down with Project B. And you know what? I knew once she went on her podcast and made them comments about Project B, Sophie is smart. She know how to get to the bag. She gonna finesse and get to the bag. And I'm not mad at you. Make sure they save some dough for KTV. Anywho, I knew when she made those comments on her podcast that she would eventually be next to sign to Project B. I didn't know if she would be the next person, but I knew she would get an offer and she would sign to Project B. She brings the popularity. She has name.
Then you hear from Cunningham herself. Her official announcement came out, and she was overjoyed, saying Project B is a platform women's basketball has earned for a long time and would take the game global. She stated that she is fully committed to continuing the sport's huge momentum, not just in the United States, but around the world. You must understand that this type of public statement from a key player who was once teammates with the WNBA's biggest star is not a friendly endorsement. It's essentially a declaration of war on the league they recently quit. The message could hardly be clearer. She envisions a completely fresh and revolutionary chapter in women's sports, one that provides opportunities that players have never had before.
She brings the popularity. She has name cachet now, thanks to Caitlin Clark. But I can see this coming. And here it says, player, partner, owner, Sophie Cunningham. She said, excited to join Project B's athlete roster as they launch a new chapter into women's basketball. Our game is exploding in popularity, and I'm all in on carrying that momentum forward in any way I can, both at home in the U.S. and beyond. And you see.
Now, let's speak about money, because the disparity between Project B and the WNBA is simply incredible. It's a brutal reality check for all players. Think about it. Last year, the WNBA Supermax deal was worth barely $300,000, and $1 million offer remains a pipe dream in the midst of bitter union negotiations. Meanwhile, Project B is apparently offering annual wages of more than $2 million. That isn't just a little extra money. The salary disparity is massive, and it creates a draw that is nearly impossible for players to resist. The financial signs alone are putting tremendous pressure on WNBA stars to fundamentally reassess their careers.
It's official. Sophie is all in on Project B. And listen, this could spell very, very bad news for the WNBA. And the WNBA, as we know it, may never be the same. I don't see these players accepting the $850,000 offer, or whatever it was that the W was offering. And this could change the W forever, like literally forever. Let's take a look at the article here on Front Office Sports.
But here's the deal. It goes well beyond the mind-blowing pay. Project B sweetens the offer with another big incentive, participant equity. What does this mean? It means that athletes aren't only paid like regular employees. They are actually becoming league owners, with a direct financial stake in its success. This is a tremendously smart concept that you see in a lot of new sports enterprises, and it provides a glimpse of the future that the WNBA, with its current architecture, just cannot compete with. For athletes who have spent their whole careers fighting for fair pay and recognition, receiving an equity stake is more than simply a reward. It's a game-changing type of empowerment that teaches them where the true long-term money and worth lies.
Were annual salaries over $2 million. The WNBA Supermax last year paid under $300,000, and the league still has not offered players a max salary over $1 million in its ongoing and contentious labor negotiations. The players are also receiving equity in the new league, as is increasingly common in emerging leagues. So now, if you got a league, you got to give equity now. I guess that's the new thing. The players it signed so far: Nneka Ogwumike, Alyssa Thomas, Jonquel Jones, Jewel Lloyd, Sophie Cunningham, Kamilla Cardoso, Lee Ming, Janelle Salong, Kelsey Mitchell.
And you have to understand that Cunningham is not going over there by herself. She joins an already formidable roster of big personalities who have left the WNBA for Project B. I'm referring to stars like Nneka Ogwumike, Alyssa Thomas, Jonquel Jones, and Jewel Lloyd. They've all joined up. Kelsey Mitchell, another WNBA standout, joins international stars Kamilla Cardoso and Lee Mang on the roster. This is turning into a full-fledged exodus of talent, both established stars and up-and-comers. It's evident that Project B isn't a one-hit wonder. It's a serious threat that is actively depleting the WNBA's talent pool, one elite player at a time.
Alyssa Thomas, Jonquel Jones, Jewel Lloyd, Sophie Cunningham, Kamilla Cardoso, Lee Ming, Janelle Salong, Kelsey Mitchell. I wouldn't even be surprised if Aaliyah Boston or somebody got announced in this thing next. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised if Angel Reese don't get announced soon. I definitely could see her taking the bag. I mean, this is a real thing, man. Cunningham tore her MCL in August in her first season with the Indiana Fever, and is, like most WNBA veterans, a free agent. So
you should also consider Sophie Cunningham's personal circumstances, since it demonstrates a power that Project B possesses. She tore her MCL in August during her debut season with the Indiana Fever. Additionally, she was already a free agent. So, with the injury and the flexibility to sign in a place, she's in an ideal position to really consider other options that could provide her with both huge financial security and a whole new start. Her decision to depart the Fever as a free agent proves that the WNBA can't even retain quality on its own teams, leaving Caitlin Clark's squad extremely vulnerable and shining a bright light on the difficult financial decisions these players are forced to make.
It's here. This was a quote from an interview from J.C. Shelton, who is one of Caitlin Clark's biggest rivals. We know she's a op. Started an entire brawl while she was with the Connecticut Sun. She over there poking Caitlin Clark in the eye, elbow, doing all types of stuff. Okay, and then Marina Mabrey and Tina Charles and the Goon Squad want to try to show up and jump Caitlin Clark. And then Sophie Cunningham had to retaliate and slam her to the floor. Okay, that's why we really love Sophie so much, because she stood up against
Interview 7. So, for years, people have claimed that the WNBA is in disarray, and what's going on with Project B right now only add to that. The labor negotiations have been dragging on, and they have yet to get a maximum pay of more over $1 million, leaving many players feeling absolutely devalued and taken advantage of. This problem of underpayment has been escalating for years, creating the ideal climate for a disruptor like Project B to emerge and provide a genuine alternative. The WNBA's inability to adapt and offer competitive salary demonstrates how fragile it is, jeopardizing its entire existence versus these ambitious new leagues. Furthermore, Project B's schedule represents a direct and severe challenge. Their season will span from November to April, allowing them to compete with other international leagues in Europe and demonstrate their desire to dominate the worldwide calendar. Currently, it does not coincide with the WNBA season, but that is the scariest part. This time indicates that Project B could easily adjust its schedule later and take the WNBA's regular summer berth, leaving the league with nowhere to go. As a result, the WNBA now faces the ultimate nightmare scenario. The entire season might be lost. If Project B is successful in shifting its schedule and taking over the WNBA spot, or if just enough prominent players leave for the new league, the WNBA as we know it may cease to exist. That is not an exaggeration. It poses a serious danger to the sport. The league's diminishing pool of players and financial troubles demonstrate how frail its base is, making a cancelled season increasingly plausible. The WNBA's clock is ticking quickly. With Thanksgiving quickly approaching, these labor negotiations are at a critical juncture, with deadlines looming. The league must reach a new agreement as soon as possible or risk absolute calamity. Their reluctance to give comparable pay and equity, particularly when compared to Project B's proactive actions, exemplifies the WNBA's worrisome complacency. This inertia, while a revolutionary new league gains traction, places the WNBA in a precarious situation. Facing collapse if a solution is not found soon. Initially, allegations about Project B's funding sparked a lot of criticism. Early on, it was revealed that sovereign wealth funds from Singapore and Saudi Arabia were engaged, raising serious concerns about the league's ethics. These big financial supporters instantly portrayed Project B as a massive, well-funded force capable of disrupting everything. But then Grady Burnett of Project B came out and clarified the funding, particularly the Saudi Arabia aspect. He stated that the league receives no direct funding from Saudi Arabia, even though they have a relationship with Salah, a Saudi event business. He stated that Project B pays Salah, not the other way around. The real investors are primarily in sports technology and venture capital, which are more traditional but nonetheless highly effective financial use. Amidst all of this, there is an ongoing rivalry between Caitlin Clark and JCS Sheldon, which adds to the drama. Sheldon, who is well known as one of Clark's fiercest foes from previous games, has expressed interest in competing against her. That rivalry, which dates back to college, exemplifies the type of passionate competition Clark inspires among others. And the animosity even resulted in an actual brawl during a WNBA game, something fans will never forget. JCS Sheldon was right in the thick of it, with Caitlin Clark caught in the crossfire. Here's the important bit. Sophie Cunningham stepped in, fighting back against Sheldon to defend Clark, even smashing him to the ground in a display of loyalty. That moment demonstrates Cunningham's unwavering dedication to Clark, making a departure for Project B all the more difficult and significant for Clark's future. Despite this wild background, JCS Sheldon's recent interview demonstrated a lot of respect for Caitlin Clark. When asked about their battles, Sheldon said it was pleasant and acknowledged how much Clark had contributed to the game's growth. She expressed excitement about the upcoming competitive games, describing it as a fantastic chance. This kind of reception upon arriving demonstrates Clark's unmistakable influence and respect. But the contrast between Sheldon's courteous remarks and the terrible financial reality of the WNBA is stark. While participants talk about enjoyable competition, they're only competing for a small portion of what Project B has to offer. The respect Clark gains on the court isn't transferring into the financial security the league requires to keep its top players, including Clark herself. Sophie Cunningham's fierce attachment to Caitlin Clark, which was evident in that fight, is now pitted against the pool of Project B's enormous offer. This decision, which is all about financial reality and long-term security, unfortunately takes a vital protector away from Clark and the FIF. It demonstrates that even the best friendships may be shattered by the vast income disparities across leagues. Cunningham's departure leaves Clark without a vital ally at a time when she desperately needs one. Cunningham departing the Fever for Project B directly undermines the team's potential to retain a generational star like Caitlin Clark. Losing an experienced player, especially one coming off an injury, weakens the entire team and demonstrates that the Fever just cannot compete financially. This move reflects a worrying trend. Clark's own squad may not be immune to the talent exodus. The Fever's future, and hence Clark's future in Indiana, is suddenly looking very, very uncertain. So the writing is on the wall, and it can't be ignored. Sophie Cunningham's transfer to Project B, motivated by the large money and ownership share, is the ultimate indication of the WNBA precarious status. Caitlin Clark's reaction to a former teammate and defender leaving the Indiana Fever for a better deal goes beyond a roster change. This is a significant warning indicator. The WNBA's inability to match these offers indicates an unsustainable future for its stars, forcing Clark to confront a sad reality. Her long-term career, and possibly even her future in Indiana, are suddenly extremely unknown